It's getting dark, and I've lost John, and I don't know where I'm at.
If you were wondering where my family is from, they're from Erie. And if you were wondering what our slogan is, we love Erie. And if you were wondering where our fair city is, it's by the lake. And if you were wondering what our famous catchphrase is, we love Erie.
Deep in the woods of Millcreek Township, there's this stretch of land that has terrified teenagers for generations.
You know, every town has one. That one dark, creepy place you were warned about as a kid. A place where whispers of history and tragedy just kinda mix with the wind to create something else entirely. So today, we're diving into one of the most chilling local legends in Pennsylvania.
We're tuning our dials to a dark frequency, to a place where a chilling story has echoed for generations. It's a place that earned its name from pure fear and folklore, long before a real body was ever even found there. Welcome to Axe Murder Hollow.
Time for you to be asleep, Billy.
I'm not a bit sleepy.
You have to get up early tomorrow, remember?
Oh, I don't want to go to bed yet.
It's bedtime and sleep time. Now put these things down. Now get under the covers and out with the lights.
Mom, I'm always awake for ages after the lights are out.
Oh, don't worry, you'll fall asleep right away. You'll be asleep before you know it. Good night, Billy.
Good night.
When little Billy's mother tucked him in at night, she had no idea about the story his classmate Johnny had shared with him at school earlier that day. A story he would remember forever. Johnny told little Billy about a farmer who dismembered his family and buried the bodies in a field.
What is it, Billy? Why aren't you in bed? What's wrong, Billy? Is something the matter?
Mother.
Yes?
Is it all right if I leave the lights on just for tonight?
Oh, is that what's been bothering you?
I thought I saw someone in the room, and I heard noises.
So how in the world does a place get a name like that? Well, every terrifying legend has a story at its heart. And for decades, this is the one that's been whispered around campfires and in the backseats of cars all across Erie County. The story that everyone tells. It's brutally simple. It starts with a farmer just consumed by jealousy who's convinced his wife is cheating on him. In this blind rage, he grabs an axe and slaughters his entire family. When people finally find him, he's just wandering the woods, muttering to himself with the bloody axe still in his hand. And of course, the legend says their spirits never, ever left. And this story gets its legs from generations of thrill seekers who have dared to visit the hollow at night. The reports are, it's classic ghost story stuff. Phantom footsteps crunching on leaves just out of sight, anguished cries on the wind, and the most terrifying one, the distinct sound of an axe chopping wood. You add in cars that suddenly stall for no reason and those chilling sudden drops in temperature, and you have the perfect recipe for a local horror legend. It's a terrifying story for sure, but here's where we pivot from folklore to investigation. Because when you actually look for any record of a farmer murdering his family with an axe in these woods, you find absolutely nothing. Zero. So if it didn't happen, where did a name like Axe Murder Hollow actually come from? To unravel this whole mystery, we have to start with the name itself. Because you see, the name didn't come from a crime. It turns out the crime came much, much later.
Okay, our investigation, our first real clue, takes us back to 1945. This is the very first time the name Axe Murder Hollow shows up in a documented source, the local Erie Times-News. This is our anchor.
So the story goes that the Harbor Creek High School football team decided to, test their bravery with a nighttime trip into the hollow. What they said they saw became instant local lore. They claimed they saw an apparition, heard this insane, cackling laughter, and saw weird flashes of light before they all just ran for their lives. And that story, it spread like wildfire through teenage gossip, cementing the hollow's haunted reputation for good.
So here is the absolute crucial takeaway. The legend, the name, the fear. It was all created by teenage dare culture back in the 40s. The Hollow was already a terrifying place in the local imagination for almost 20 years before a real documented murder would give all those stories a horrifying dose of reality.
Okay, so that leads us to the next big question, right? If the football team's ghost story is what made the haunting famous, where did the very specific idea of an axe murderer come from in the first place? I mean, that's way too detailed to be completely made up.
And it probably wasn't. Investigators and local historians think the legend wasn't just pulled from thin air. They think it was twisted from the story of a real, reclusive local man who, really through no fault of his own, became the boogeyman at the heart of the myth. Okay, so let me introduce you to a man named William Geck. His family settled in these exact woods way back in 1891. Then in 1917, their farmhouse burned to the ground, leaving behind just a stone foundation, a ruin that ghost hunters would later point to as the haunted farmhouse. But the real key event? That happens in 1922. By 1922, Geck was working as a butcher at a slaughterhouse. That year, he catches two 14-year-old boys breaking into his home and holds them till the police show up. Now here's where the theory gets really interesting. Just imagine you're one of those two kids. You just got caught by this big, quiet guy who lives alone in the woods and whose job involves cleavers and saws and blood. What story do you tell your friends so you don't sound like a petty criminal? You say you barely escaped the clutches of Billy the Butcher. And those butcher's tools? Well, over time, they likely morphed into the much scarier and more primal weapon, the axe.
So we have the folklore, and we have a possible real-life inspiration. For decades, that's all it was, a story. But in 1963, everything changed. The whispers and the campfire tales were about to be validated by a brutal, very real crime.
It's January 1963. A 19-year-old college sophomore named Mary Lynn Crotty goes on a blind date, and she never comes home. The place where her body was eventually discovered would fuse fiction and fact together forever.
Her killer, Daniel B. Begauthauser, a 21-year-old man she had just been set up with. When she resisted his advances, he murdered her. It was a senseless, awful crime. But the details of what happened after the murder, that's what truly cemented the legend of Axe Murder Hollow. And listen, these are the crucial, hard facts. The murder did not happen in Axe Murder Hollow. The weapon was not an axe. She was strangled and stabbed with a knife. After he killed her, B. Begauthauser kept her body in his trunk for over half a day before making a very, very calculated decision. He deliberately drove to the one place in Erie already famous for a murder that never happened, and he left her body there. He was literally weaponizing folklore to try and cover his own tracks. And that is how three completely separate things, a teenage ghost story, a misunderstood local butcher, and a tragic, unrelated murder, all got woven together to create one of the most persistent legends in the entire region.
So let's just break it down one more time. The legend gives us the whole idea of a jealous farmer with an axe. The Geck theory gives us a real person, Billy the Butcher, whose job gives us the axe imagery, and whose burned-down house provides the setting. And then, the tragic Crotty murder provides the actual, documented body, confirming the Hollow as a place of real death, even though none of the details match the original story. It created this powerful, really chilling feedback loop. A fictional rumor made a place infamous. That infamy then inspired a real killer to use that location for his crime. And that real crime then served as proof to everybody later on that the original rumor must have been true all along. I mean, it's the perfect storm for creating an unbreakable legend. For decades, this legend has survived skepticism, it survived investigations, but
But today, it's facing a new and maybe final threat. And it's not people disproving the story. It's the land itself that's changing. The once isolated, terrifying woods are being cleared away for new houses, new roads, even kids' athletic fields. The physical atmosphere of fear is just vanishing.
And that leaves us with one final haunting question. The power of Axe Murder Hollow came from its darkness, its isolation. As the suburbs move in and the deep woods are replaced with manicured lawns, what happens to the legend? What happens to the fear? When a haunted place is literally erased from the map, where do its ghosts go?
John, is that you? Is that you? John?